Hello and welcome to the Phil Gadd Podcast, where I chat with entrepreneurs about how they achieve their start, overcome obstacles, and develop their success and growth. Today, I'm joined by a true Fernie Legend, although he is very modest about that title, the one and only Greg Barrow, aka GMoney. How are you, Greg?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
You got to be really old to become a legend.
Yeah.
or be young and dead.
True. Yeah. That's very true.
So I don't know about the legend status.
I don't know. Everything I read about you everywhere, Greg, it has that title. So, you've done wonderful things here in Fernie. First of all, I just wanted to chat a little bit about, your history, how you arrived in Fernie, and the history behind your the store Edge of the World. It's very unique Fernie store.
Yeah, so I started Edge of the World in North Carolina in 1981. And it started as a whitewater rafting, rock climbing, guiding service. And so, I was really into paddling whitewater. And so that was my passion. So I started a business to pursue my passion. And out of that, a few years later, we started doing snowboards in the winter. We were in a ski resort town. Although most people don't think of North Carolina as a ski destination. There's 3 little small resorts in our town. It was great. And so that's how I got into the snowboarding end of it. And the rafting is still going on. The business is still going on. My son owns it now. And but the snowboarding aspect grew out of it big time and in a hurry. So I decided to move to where there was better snow, because my passion went from white water to riding good snow. So that's what drew me to Fernie.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. But I think one of the reasons why your name is associated with being a legend is because you were associated with some of the pioneers back in the early days of snowboarding. You could probably put the list of your friends to the likes of the late Jake Burton, Chuck Barefoot, Tom Sims, Dmitry Milovich. So can you, maybe explain your relationship with some of those guys?
Well, the relationship obviously is a business relationship. When I opened my shop in North Carolina in 81, Dmitry actually came by my shop in a station wagon full of winter stick snowboards. And I'd never seen a snowboard before. And I loved them. I was fascinated by them because I grew up skateboarding. I grew up wanting to surf, but I never lived where I could surf. And so, but I didn't buy any because I had just zero money. And but that planted the seed. And then that spring of 82, I went to the buying show in Vegas, the outdoor industry buying show, and Jake Burton and Tom Sims and Dmitry and Chuck Barfoot, all those guys they weren't allowed in the show because inside the facility, because at the time the ski industry was trying to keep the snowboard industry from happening. And so they were just in the parking lot in their vans selling their wares out of their vans, And so I ordered snowboards, from all of them out of their van, and just, a couple from each company, more from Burton than anybody. So that's how I got started, and that's how I met them. And of course, at that time in their careers, trying to build a business up, you became friends with them right away because they want your business, And so And so it's such a small community at the time. So that's how I got involved, knowing them through business. I wouldn't say we were like buddies. I mean, I did go to Jake Burton's birthday party in Vermont one time. I got invited to that, and that was really cool. And it was maybe 100 people there, so it was pretty cool. And that inspired me a lot. Just his home, all his toys inspired me. He had a very modest home, but incredible toys. And so I'm like, man, I want incredible toys too.
What can you elaborate on kind of what sort of toys he had?
Well, they had a full skate park,
Oh, wow.
Full ramps, everything, outdoor skate park, half pipes, rails, everything. He had a full basketball court, 2 goals, a small, but 2 goals set up. He had a barn that was set up just for music venue, and he had a PA system in there and everything. In his front lawn was a soccer field that was lined and everything, just like really nice turf too. Nice. And then he had this pond that had this thing that you jumped off this tower and landed on this big floaty thing. And if you were standing on the floaty, it threw you way up in the air. And then you'd do flips and stuff and land back in the pond. Hopefully you land back in the pond. That's so he was just all about his toys.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
that was cool.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So being around someone like him, Jake Burton. I mean, you say that, they started off selling out of their vans because they couldn't get into the actual show. That's a real kind of entrepreneurial spirit. And I suppose, back then, even though they were just starting, they grew into, a multi-million-dollar company. I mean, what do you think? Knowing him a little bit, and yourself as well. You've managed to keep a business running in a small mountain town. What do you contribute to maybe Jake Burton's success, but also some of your success here in Fernie?
First of all, loving what you're doing. I've always, the edge of the world has always been a business that's fun. And it always has followed what my passions are, my outdoor passions. And I think that's the number one thing. When you're doing something that's fun and you enjoy going to work every day, you don't really care so much about the money, because you're getting a reward from having a good, fun, healthy lifestyle. And so that's the number one thing. And the second thing is just not giving up, persevering, I mean, we've been in Fernie for 22 years. And I'd say, honestly, 15 of those 22, if not more, we lost money or we just barely broke even, And so, but I wasn't willing to give it up because I loved Fernie. And then I love what I was doing. So I said, no, I'm staying. I don't need much to get by as long as I got a ski pass and a mountain bike and some cereal to eat. I'm okay. So I'd say that's the 2 main things.
Yeah, that's great. One of the getting some bad audio here. Let me try and see if I can have a little fix that there. How does that? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay.
I'm getting that echo back now, though.
Okay. Let me try doing this a bit. Is that better for you?
Yep. No echo.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. No. I do, after talking to a lot of people, especially business owners who have been successful, whether it's, you know, in their own right. One word I think a lot of people do say, and including myself, is perseverance. If you don't stick it through, you'll never see the true results.
Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, that kind of answered a few questions there. Like, you know, I like your notion on, you know, and that's kind of, you know, a little bit for me as well, living in Fernie, deciding to, you know, make a home and a life here in Fernie. It's, you know, it's the small things, you know, why you're here. And, you know, I don't think it can ever be about the money. When it becomes about the money, I think it starts, things don't tend to work out the way that you expect them to. So, Greg, what inspires you? Do you have, what's your favorite books? Are you a reader? Do you read a book?
no, I don't read.
No.
My dad always said that I was one of the few people that he'd ever known that graduated from a major university and never bought a school book, which was true. I didn't spend my money on the textbooks. I went to class. I took good notes, but I never had the textbooks. But no, I mean, the reading I do has to do with most of the magazines. I'll read a lot about different, you know, band members, history of things like that. I read a lot about mountain biking, a lot about snowboarding. So that's the reading that I do.
So two passions. You still. Oh, this audio is a little buggy on my end. So your passion, snowboarding and mountain biking. I take it you're still. Have you been dethroned yet as the first chair king?
Not yet. I keep waiting for somebody to do it. I've got 21 years in a row now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I wasn't planning on, I didn't have the plan to go every year. Just one year I decided, hey, I'm going to see if I can get first chair. So I went up there really early, and there were two other people already there. But of course there's 4 people on the chair. So I got on. And so then, I don't know, the next year I just said, well, I think I'll try it again. So I did. And I think the third year I'd say, you know, this is ridiculous getting up so early. I'm just going to camp. So I went up there and camped, and the security guard ran me off. And I go, I can't camp here? He goes, no. I said, why not? He says, because this is not a campground. He said, well, what are you up here? Why are you camping? I said, so I can get first chair. He said, you're camping out to get first chair? I go, yeah. He goes, why are you doing that? I said, I don't know. I just want to get first chair. He said, well, I can't let you camp. And so I said, well, can I stand here? He goes, yeah, you can stand here all you want. So I put my tent away and just stood there all night.
And he let you stay?
What's that?
And he let you stay?
Oh, yeah, he let me stay. He just didn't let me have a tent. So then I talked to the powers to be at the ski hill for the next year and said, can I camp? They go, sure, you can camp. I said, well, you tell security that, please. And so they did. And so I started camping. It's way easier. I get a good night's sleep. Except Blair comes around on the cat and almost runs me over because he grooms like within inches of the tent. And I know he does it just to scare me because he knows it's me. I'm like, Blair, don't scare me so much like that. It's like a monster. It wakes you up and it's just all these lights and this noise. You're like, God. I hope he doesn't run over me. There've been nights that it snowed a lot too, and I'm thinking, I hope he sees me. I hope he doesn't think I'm just a pile of snow.
Yeah, that'd be a bit awkward if they run you over.
Yeah, that's probably how I'll go. Yeah, well, GMoney, he was cool. We got, but they ran him over. They thought he was a mogul, not a business mogul.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you opened. So when did you open Edge of the World? So would that
99. December 99.
Because my first winter in Fernie was get my words out. It was 2004, and I remember coming to your location at the time. We had the skate ramp in, and it was like it's one of my kind of first impressions. I think like one of the first stores I ever went into when I first arrived here, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. Because I'd actually taken a sabbatical from my sort of career in London to do the non-stop ski course.
Yeah.
And I'd actually brought my skateboard with me. And so I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then when I actually moved here full time with the family, we literally lived 100 meters from the store, and I think by that time you had the Mexican place in there, which
we started the Mexican place the first year.
Okay.
Yeah, right. My ex did that.
Yeah,
that's what she wanted to do, and that facility was amazing. I loved it, and I loved the skate ramps and just having the restaurant in there and everything, but the layout for retail within the store was not good, and there wasn't enough room. Plus, we needed to get on Second Ave in order to make a living.
Right.
We just couldn't make it over there. That shop was cool, and it was just my dream, but it just couldn't exist. It was going to go under. So rather than giving up, this spot on Second Ave opened up, so I came in here, and it's been great. It's awesome, and it's way more fun being on Second Ave, because over there I didn't really feel like as much of a part of the community.
Right.
But when you get on Second Ave, then you meet all the shop owners and things like that, and I was really kind of even though I was over there a long time, I was still a little bit of a newcomer to the town until I came to Second Ave. So it was a great move coming here. And now that building is getting good use from the gymnastics, and so it's great. Yeah. I own that building, so that's nice to have.
Yeah, that's cool. So that's really interesting to kind of know that, being a successful business owner is understanding, when your business needs to go in a different direction, because obviously if it didn't, then you would have, like you said, you would have probably gone under. So that's interesting. I think a lot of people who are potentially thinking about getting into business or running businesses, knowing your numbers, I find, is incredibly important, because if you don't, one of the things that can easily happen is what you've kind of mentioned there. You need to be in control of your business to make it work and successful.
Yeah. Well, as a business owner, I'm really pretty lame as far as knowing how to run a business.
Okay.
And as far as numbers go.
Right.
And when I hired Rich, who's the manager here now, he loves to run numbers. He loves to look at screens. He loves spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And so he turned the business around really
Perfect.
By crunching the numbers and knowing exactly what was going on. I never really knew what was going on in the business. I thought I did, but I didn't really. And, as long as it was good snow on the hill, I was happy. And that's all I cared about. And I was like, let's buy some more snowboards. Look like we sold enough. And so that's kind of how I did things, and it wasn't very successful until he came along and definitely turned it around.
Well, that's awesome, because I'm having a bit of trouble again with the audio, so apologies if people are listening and hearing bad audio. But that's really critical for successful businesses as well. I find is someone like yourself, who's kind of like a visionary, he's got the idea, whatever you want to call them, but you also need the people to actually run the business. And someone like you just mentioned, Richard, he's come in and he's that team member for you. He's that person. So successful businesses aren't just one person. There are a number of people who build, make up great teams.
Yeah. And of course, Rich is not the only one.
Sure.
I've got an amazing staff, and it blows my mind how nice they are, how kind they are, how just how hard they work, and how interested they are in the business succeeding. And they're just very happy here, and they're just great to be around, and it's just unbelievable how good of a staff I have. And the staff kind of, people ask me a lot, how you hire such good people? And I'm like, it just kind of you get a couple of good people, and then that builds, because they want to work with good people.
Yeah.
They want to work with people that work and that are fun to be around. And so then they recommend other people, and I interview them, ask them some dumb questions, and see if they laugh. And if they do, I hire them. So
that's amazing. You just really touched there on culture. Culture, no matter how you do it to make a great culture, if the culture in your company is not right, then
Oh yeah. It's everything. It's everything in a small business, Yeah. I mean, customer service is, what everybody brags about, but you've really, really got to have good people. You got to have people that generally want to help people rather than just putting on the face, So that's my staff. They're just super good people.
That's awesome. Well, there's some really cool, the last few minutes there's some really cool, elements in there to, how successful small businesses can run. So that's fantastic. There's a couple more things I want to touch on, Greg. First of all, the relationship you had with the late Craig Kelly. How did that come about? Because he was a hero of mine. I used to love watching him. And I actually been to Baldface and stood on his memorial, and it's quite moving. So how did you guys sort of come to know each other?
Through Burton, and knowing the Burton people, knowing Jake Burton and everything. And I got invited to Vermont one time to snowboard with their team, and Craig was there, of course. And so, I got to know him a little bit. And then when I would see him at the trade shows or whatever, he'd recognize me, and so we'd talk. And so And there was another snowboarder on their team at the time called Jason Ford. And actually, Jason told me about Fernie, and he invited me to come to Fernie, and because he was a part owner, he may still be, I don't know, at Island Lake. He invited me to come to Fernie and go to Island Lake, and but then he calls me back and says, "Nope, they're booked. I can't get you on." And so he said, "Well, you ought to come to Fernie anyway and ride the hill." He said the hill is great. So that got me interested in Fernie, but I didn't go at that time. I think it was about a year later, and I was talking to Craig at a trade show about it, and he was telling me all about Fernie, and he was living it in Fernie at the time, and I'm thinking, wow, if Craig Kelly lives in Fernie, that's where I want to live. And so that's when I came that March for just a few days in Fernie, and it was great. It was great snow. I mean, I remember getting on the timber lift. I went up the timber lift, and as I'm going up the timber lift, as I get off the timber, and I see people walking up to Mitchie Chutes, up to the left there. So I said, I'm just going to follow them, see where they're going. So I hiked up there, and then I followed them down through Mitchie Chutes, and came out at the White Pass. I went up the White Pass chair, saw people hiking up to Knot Chutes. So I said, well, I'm going to follow them. So I hiked up Knot Chutes, and I got up on top of Knot Chutes and looked around and went, man, this is where I want to live. This is unbelievable. And so, I dropped in and did the Knot Chutes, and I remember pretty much from there, I think I went back down, and because my wife was down, she was checking out she was in town. So I went back. No, we met, we met up for lunch. That's what it was. So she came to the ski hill, we met for lunch. And she said, well, what do you think about the hill? And I said, I love it. I said, it's unbelievable. I said, this is where I want to be. And I said, what do you think about the town? Because she had gone through the town and went in and out of businesses. And she said, everybody is so nice. She said, they are so nice. She said, I've never been around people any nicer than this. And I said, well, let's do it. And she goes, all right, let's do it.
Nice.
And so I went and called right away. I went and called on a payphone, no cell phones. Yeah. I called Clark, who was the world sales manager for Burton. I called Clark up. I said, Clark, I'm in Fernie, BC. Can I sell Burton in Fernie? He said, yes. I said, well, I'm going to do it then. I said, I want a dealership for Fernie. He says, all right, you got it.
Nice.
So that's what started the whole thing off.
Cool. Well, there you go. That was the start of the legend. Greg, I just want to, I know you're a keen musician, and you're a member of, is it Fernie's number 2 band? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're the Runs. We have no solid hits. But we do play explosive rock.
Not well, as we were chatting before.
That's a joke too. Explosive rock. You gotta laugh.
That's very good. Yeah.
And funny thing about it is, I named the Runs from the Runs on the Hill.
Oh.
I was driving back from North Carolina. Originally, I was in a band called Not Dead Yet. Right. We played for about 3 years, and then we died. And so I said, well, I got to start a new band. What am I going to name it? And then I was thinking about the Runs on the Hill. I said, man, Fernie just got the best runs any resort I've ever been to. I love the saddles, man, it's awesome. And then I went, wait a minute, the Runs. perfect ski town band name, The Runs. So that's how I got the name.
That's awesome. 'Cause I was wondering why it was called The Runs. I was thinking it was something quite different, but
oh yeah, well, immediately it had a double meaning.
That's cool. And then so we were chatting before, and I said I heard the name. I'd never actually seen you live, but the last few days I've just been listening to on Spotify, and yeah, I love it. It's awesome. We were chatting, and you were saying that I can't believe I haven't listened to it before, because as I was saying, I think they're going to be on my headphones when I go out for a pedal later. Yeah. But some inspiration. We were talking that you said the Ramones were a big influence for you.
Yeah, I grew up loving the Beatles, loving the Rolling Stones, all that British rock stuff, and I actually saw the Beatles live in Atlanta, Georgia, which was crazy. And my parents would not let me go because they thought it was a bad influence.
Oh, man.
And which is hard to imagine nowadays, isn't it? But I actually ran away from home and hitchhiked up to Atlanta to see the Beatles.
Nice.
Yeah.
How old were you?
Probably, I couldn't drive, but I think I was probably 15, maybe.
Nice.
Something like that.
That's awesome.
So, but I never really, I messed around with the guitar a little bit, growing up, but not much. And then when the Ramones came along, I just like, man, I just love their music. And I love the punk scene. I love the Clash. I love, all that era.
Yeah.
And so I said, I can do that. I can learn to play guitar like that. And so I did. And then the other thing too is when I went to Jake Burton's birthday party, and I saw his barn with his stage and everything, and his PA system and everything all set up, I went back home from that trip, and I went to a music store, and I spent $10,000. I said, I want a complete band. I want everything you have to have. So I bought everything there was. I bought a good PA system with good speakers, good fallback, everything. I bought the mics, the mic stands, the drum kit. I bought a good guitar amp and a good guitar. I bought everything.
Just gonna go all in.
I didn't really know how to play, but I said, well, if you build it, they will come.
That's it. Perfect.
And so that's what I did, and that's how I got into playing music. And
then how long the runs have been around?
Oh God, we've been around forever. Yeah. I think we've probably been around for 15 years, I bet.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. I think Adam and I are the original members of the Runs, and we've had quite a few different bass players and drummers come through. But Day-Day's been the drummer for a long time now. And so Dwayne, who was one of the original bass players, and he was a bass player in Not Dead Yet, he's back in. And Atlanta's still in too, but she's got carpal tunnel, so she's not able to play much. But this group has been together for quite a while now. I'd say 6 years, maybe 7 years. Adam and I have been playing together for a long time. Adam's amazing.
Yeah.
He's a great showman. He's very talented, really good singer.
Yeah.
He makes the runs,
Well, I saw his he's got another band now, hasn't he? Mount Rushmore, is that right? Yeah,
he's playing with Will in that band. Fernie musicians, except for me, I just play in one band, but most Fernie musicians are in several bands, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it goes. The musicians get swapped around. Adam's always getting commandeered to play or sing for another band. That just happens all the time.
Everyone.
Well, the Runs didn't do anything other than record and write a lot of music during the pandemic. But we're Matt Rushka's playing Wapiti. Then when they're through with that, then Adam's going to be back with us to, we're going to start back up in the fall. And we're recording again the end of August. Yeah.
Cool.
So that'll be good.
Yeah. Well, I was going to put it out there that the listeners chose a Runs track for the end of the podcast. But because it looks like my mum's gone away now, my dog can't vote. It's down to you. It's down to you, Greg, to choose the song that I play us out on. So as I said at the start, the options we've got are Beltline Your Boner, Orange Man, Rocket Man, Get Out of My Face, which I believe you wrote. And or So Far Away.
Well, yeah, 3 of them Adam wrote and Adam sings, and then the Get Out of My Face I wrote and I sing. It depends on whether you want to hear me singing, yelling. I don't really sing, or you want to hear a good voice in Adam.
It's
golly. I mean, I don't know. I can't. I don't want to vote for myself. But since I am on the podcast, I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe it should be Get Out of My Face.
I think we're gonna finish with Get Out of My Face.
I mean, Beltline Your Boner is our most popular song on iTunes. It's kind of the only one that ever gets any listens.
Yeah.
And it's quite a clever song. But Get Out of My Face is written from an experience I had at a campground where the lady got mad at me and she just would not get out of my face. And I was just like, I'm so sorry. I'll pay the extra day. We were late leaving, and she got upset with me, and I was calm. I was like, I'm sorry. I'll pay the extra day.
Well, yeah.
But she wouldn't get out of my face, so that inspired that song.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to play that out, Greg. One quick thing before we go. Why are you called GMoney?
Oh, I've had that nickname forever and ever. I was from playing basketball.
Okay.
I used to be quite a good player, and so when I'd shoot, people would go, money. They said it was money in the bank, and so I got the nickname GMoney.
GMoney, sweet.
And it's stuck. Most people don't even know my name.
No.
So which is it's kind of nice because I can stay anonymous.
Under the radar.
I'm a well-known anonymous person.
No, well, I hadn't really spoken to you before this, and I've known you. My wife had dealt with you a lot, and nice. It's been awesome. Thanks for the last 40 minutes. It's been great. It's been great to get to know you a little bit and hear some of your stories, and some real insight in running a small business. There's some great little nuggets in there on how people, what people, even if it does seem on the surface that this very laid back and casual and fun, but sometimes that's why businesses are successful, because they are laid back, casual and fun. It's really cool.
Well, I've spent my life, I've been very, very fortunate. I've spent my life having fun, and I've spent my life around good people, and my staff are amazing. And that's the reason it has worked, for sure.
Perfect. Cool. All right. Well, Greg, you are American, so happy 4th of July.
I'm a Canadian too. I'm a Canadian citizen. I haven't denounced that America yet, but I probably should.
Yeah. So no fireworks then for you tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All right.
Thanks, Phil. It was awesome. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, no worries. I enjoyed it. And it's going to play out with Get Out of My Face, written inspired by a very friendly campground attendant.
Okay. Get out of my face. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, how do you feel about it?